Well, good morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. You know those Hawaiian rolls you can buy in the grocery store, the ones that taste like pineapple? Well, I made some last night. They were actually pretty easy to make. They're sweet but not too sweet and kind of fruity. Kind of like a dessert, not quite. Here are your ingredients. You can pause and write them down, or they'll be in the info section. I'd really appreciate it if you'd give us a thumbs up and subscribe and click on the little bell at the top right, and you'll get a notice when I post new videos about twice a week. Now let's get baking. So let's go over the ingredients. I've measured 2.5 cups of bread flour into my mixer bowl, and I have another ½ cup just in case. If you're weighing your flour, that's 375 grams. When you're going by volume, it can vary, so I've got it ready. Then I've got a ½ cup of pineapple that I put in my blender. See, it's still very juicy. I just used pineapple juice and all. And this is going to substitute for most of the liquid. Then I have 2 eggs here, and I separated the white of one of them out to make an egg wash with. So I've got 1 whole egg and 1 yolk, and then I've got the white for later. This is 3 tablespoons full of melted butter. In this recipe, if you have coconut oil, it goes well. It tastes wonderful. And this is a 1/4 cup of whey. You can use milk instead. 1 tablespoonful of instant yeast. And then I have, this is 2 tablespoons full of Splenda and 1 of sugar. This is 1 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla. On the Splenda and sugar, you don't actually have to have sugar in bread to make it rise, but it does add a little color. I just limit the sugar I use. So in my bowl, I'm going to put the salt on one side, the yeast on another, just to keep them separated until things start mixing up. The sugar in the middle. And by the way, you can mix all this by hand. I'm just using the mixer because it makes a pretty stiff dough. It's kind of hard for me to work it with my hands. But I have this nice mixer, so I'm using it. It was a gift from my 2 sons, Scott and Jim. So in goes the melted butter. And as I said, coconut oil would bring a wonderful flavor to it. In with the pineapple. And then I'm going to beat up the 2 eggs, or the 1 egg and the yolk, and drop them down into it, right in the middle. Now, you know, this doesn't have to go in any particular order. The only thing that you probably really should be careful of is keeping, there goes the vanilla, keeping the salt and the yeast separate until they're mixed. Now, you noticed I didn't proof this yeast. It's instant yeast, and you don't have to. If you're using active dry, you may want to proof it first in the milk or whey. The whey that I'm using is a byproduct of making cheese. So the dough hook is in. We're just going to mix it a little bit. I've put in everything except the whey. And I saved it until last because I wanted to make sure the dough wasn't too moist. This needs to be a good firm dough. And, you know, depending on the weather, it can vary. But once it's mixing up, you can tell this is actually just a little bit drier than I want because it's making the mixer go thump, 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 thump. I'm going to add a tablespoonful of water. And you know, the benefit of weighing your flour instead of measuring it is that you're less likely to have to make adjustments later. So I'm going to add 1 tablespoonful of warm water and just let it mix until that gets all kneaded in, until the sides of the bowl are clean and not a little sticky there. And then we're going to knead it for 6 minutes. And after 6 minutes, you should have a very firm, elastic dough. We're going to give it a little test here just to make sure that it's kneaded enough. This is called the window pane test. And all you do is you take a little chunk of it and you slowly stretch it out. And if it's kneaded enough, you'll be able to stretch it thin enough that you can see light through it. and I'll just pull on it pretty gently. If it you see where it's pulling thin enough you can see light through it. And if it tears instead of stretches, then you know you need to knead it for another minute or two. But this is ready. We're going to take it out. We have a very firm dough here, elastic, not too dry but pretty dry, and we don't want to work any more flour into it. And I had that extra flour measured out, but we're not going to need it. So I'm just going to oil my proofing bowl. And you can use any bowl that would allow for double the size. Mine's a little bigger than that, but sometimes it gets almost full. And I'm going to oil the bottom, and I still have a little bit of oil on my hands. So I'm using oil and not flour to work this dough into a ball. Now, on the rise, this is going to take a little while to rise. And folks talk a lot about making a nice warm spot for their dough to rise. You don't want all bread to rise quickly. My kitchen is at about 70 degrees right now. If it were warmer, it would rise faster. But a slow rise is good too. And you know, dough will rise in the refrigerator. That's just a little secret. It just will take a long time. I'm going to let this one rise. It's going to take about an hour and a half. If your kitchen were warm, it might rise in 45 minutes. But there's an advantage to a slow rise in the flavor. So I've flipped it over so that it's oiled on both sides. I'm just going to leave this here on the kitchen counter at about 70 degrees because it's still chilly. And in an hour and a half, we have a nice puffy dough ball. It's about doubled in size. Very elastic. I'm going to weigh this because I want to make 10 fairly even sized balls of dough. And I'm really not good at eyeballing it, so I'm going to weigh it. And then I'll cut it into 10, and I'll weigh each one of those to get them pretty even. So if you don't have a kitchen scale, you should get one. But if you don't have one, you can eyeball it. But if you've seen my videos before, you know I'm not good at that. So this was 22 ounces, 0.69. And I'm just going to break this into 10 even pieces. And I should show you this. I've already buttered a 10-inch cast iron skillet. You can cook these in anything, whatever you have that will fit 10 of them. And I worked some of the air out of it. Well, I worked all of the air out of it. And I'm going to split it in half and then start cutting 5 pieces out of each half. And you can see I'll just weigh as I go. I want to have about 2.26 ounces for each one. And you can just give and take. It doesn't matter because we're going to work these into smooth balls. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll get all these weighed and I'll be right back. Okay, all done. And you'll notice I don't have any flour on my board here. You don't need any flour. If it were a little bit sticky, you can put a little oil on your hands. You can also use a rolling pin to do this. I'm not going to bother getting the rolling pin out. I'm just going to flatten it out and then pull the corners together. And I'll pinch the corners really, really well. I'll take a little time on this first one so you can see it, what I'm doing. Just pinch up any seams. And if you're working with no flour, it handles just a little bit differently. It'll stick together pretty well. So just pull it together, and then we're going to roll it and build up a little surface tension. Now, I've had people send me messages asking me why I worked with the dough so much. And you know, besides the fact that I like to work with dough, it's good for the dough. It builds up surface tension, helps your rolls or your bread hold its shape. So once I've pulled it together, you'll see I just roll it around and around loosely. This makes it smooth and builds up the surface tension. And you see you've got a pretty little roll there. I'll do just one more and spend a little time showing you that movement of rolling it around and around. So this one I didn't flatten out. I'm just rolling it into a ball, pulling it back into itself over and over. That smooths out the dough. You can do it either way. Then you pinch it. Pinching any loose spots together. There you go. Then we're going to roll it. So my hand is just very loose on this. I'm not tight at all. Let me do it with the other hand. So it's harder for me to do with my left hand. But you can see it better with my left hand. So just rolling, rolling, rolling. It'll roll out the seams. It'll build the surface tension. It'll make a beautiful roll. Okay, I'm going to roll all these. I'll be back. And there you go. They're all in my 10-inch skillet. And I love to use cast iron to bake. It just makes such a nice color on the bottom. You want to cover these loosely. And I've got, my mother calls these shower caps. They're storage caps. You can just use plastic wrap, rub a little oil on it to keep them from sticking to the top. And I'm just going to put this cover over it. Now I'm going to let these rise again. This is slow rising. My kitchen is cool. It'll take about an hour and then I'll be back. And they've risen up and you can see they're touching. I put a tablespoonful of water in with the egg white and beat it up. Now I'm going to egg wash this. When you're choosing a pan, you want a pan that's the right size for them to touch after they rise. These are kind of like pull-apart rolls. If you've seen them in the grocery store, you know what I mean. They're very soft, and you want them to be close together, touching, so they rise up and stay soft. I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. When I'm done with this, I'm going to put them in the oven for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, we've got these beautiful rolls. I've tested the internal temperature. They're right at 200 degrees. Which is where you want any enriched bread to be. Aren't those pretty? I just love that. I'm going to put a little butter on these just because I like them. You don't have to. But I like the softness that the butter gives them if you put it on when it's hot. Now when I get the butter on all of these, I'm going to turn them out onto a rack. And you really should let them cool about 15 minutes. And they're best eaten while still warm. So 15 minutes is not too long. And this butter will help them stay soft too. I just love this. It's just a faint pineapple smell. It's just wonderful. I love these. I'm going to be bad. I'm going to eat one. And I'm going to be really bad. I'm not going to wait 15 minutes. You don't have to cut these. I've got the knife because they're still too hot to handle. They just pull apart. And I want to show you this texture. Let me get this one out. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. This is so soft. It's just like cotton candy inside. And all that rolling I did, the inside is swirled. Look at that. Oh, yes. Let me get some butter. I have to take a bite. And I'm glad I got mine first. The grandkids are all over these. So I'm going to give them a taste and I'll show you the texture. I really hope that you try these rolls. They're easy. They're wonderful. They're a little sweet, not too sweet, and just yummy. Look at that. Like I said, it's like cotton candy inside. Hope you try these. Hope you like them. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.